Hello there. I am about to change my strings, and I thought it might be useful because I wasn't able to find a comparison or like even how these strings sounded anywhere online. So I thought we would quick have a listen. I just finished a day of teaching. Let's have a listen to what these strings sound like now. Let's make sure that it's in tune. The weather's been crazy. Sometimes an in tune A just doesn't sound in tune. One of those days. Yep, I love a C if it's 2 cents flat. If you know, you know. So this is a set, this is the second set of Larsen Il Cannones that I've used. These are the warm and broad. I actually somewhere have two, I think I've got the, what is it? Something in direct. The only word I have in mind is loud. I don't think they'd be like loud and direct. Anyway, I don't like them. They're not terrible strings, but like the D's like sounds like a different instrument to me. I loved this instrument because of how like forceful and fierce and also easy the C string was to get to sound. And it's not that way. There's like a latency. There's sometimes like an ambiguity to the intonation. Some of that is pilot error, but some of it is not. So I'm just gonna do a tiny little test, and I am going to then restring. And part of the reason I wanted to do that is you're gonna be watching this video at least a week after I started filming, because apparently these strings, the Warchal Brilliant set, and I'm gonna be trying their prototype A, they are notorious. They even include almost like a warning on the box where it's like, these bad boys take a while to settle in. Now I have a string quartet rehearsal in like 4 or 5 days. So hopefully they will be more or less broken in, at least for intonation purpose. But yeah, if my string quartet sees this, sorry guys if this sounds weird. Okay, so here we go. Let's just do some open strings. Rosin, but you heard how like both the G and the C were like right? So using all of my finesse, I managed to take away that artifact at the front end of the open string. But I wasn't doing a bad technique. Like they do that a whole lot. So to use the opening of Brahms E minor. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll change my strings out and we'll see what they sound like straight out of the box. Here we go. Not super happy with my own intonation, but also it was really hard to get that squarely in tune, and it's not always that way with other strings. Let's hear the high part. now we're gonna do a sped up thing where I change the strings. All right, so they're on. By the way, that A string, it feels so noodly and weird. I'm like, it doesn't have like the stiffness that I'm used to. But before I get this bad boy all tuned up, God, the A even looks skinny. This is the Warchal Prototype A. The set actually comes, the Brilliant set comes with an A, so if I really hate this, but I love the idea of a prototype, right? But before I actually play for you guys, I want to also explain why sometimes it's really good to use what I'm using, Zoom. I am not using my good mics. I've got the door open. I am using the onboard camera on my laptop and using Zoom to do the recording, because I would actually like the least charitable version of my sound. When I was studying audio engineering, when we were doing mix down and mastering, they told us, quick burn a CD, because this was back in the days. I think the first iPod was like just about to come out, but they're like, quick burn a CD of what you think this like mix down or the masters or like the stems or whatever you're listening to, and then go play it in your car, because like, you know, we're famous for being like super did you see that? Zoom, you're so strange. Anyway, while you can get like super neurotic about like, I'm listening to like the snare drum sound, and then like 30 minutes later, you don't even know what a drum, like normal drum sound even sounds like anymore. Most people are actually not listening to whatever musicians are performing in the studio, not really listening to it in audiophile equipment. So right, I have like these really great like studio like headphones on, or really good monitors in a very precise room, and it's like, fine, if it sounds good, of course it's going to sound good on all of this, or of course that snare is going to sound like it's ringing, or like the roll off on the tom is weird. But then when you go into someone's car and you listen to like what the average Honda speakers are going to put out, it's like, wow, I had no idea. So it's really important to like listen to your sound if you're an instrumentalist in a whole bunch of different environments. And since mostly right now I'm doing most of my playing online using either Zoom or FaceTime or some other like laptop centered non-fancy mic kind of setup, that's what I want to know. I want to know how I sound in that context, because that's how my students hear me. That's how performances sometimes go. So now I'm not even close to in tune. Yeah, baby. Let's see if we can get this guy up a little bit. I like to actually tune, well, not tune all the way up, but I like to set the A and the C first, because I feel like the bridge twists less if like we secure these two and then work on the middle strings. I might be crazy, I don't know. I just also had an adjustment at the luthier, so I really don't want to mess up all the good work he did to my bridge and my sound piece. Sound piece? Sound post, whatever. It's late in the day, guys. Okay. It's so scary. So I'm gonna tune the whole thing to an A flat first. Baroque style. Adjustment. Are we slipping? Well, we'll see. I like that G already though, guys. Okay, now let's see if we can, oh, it's falling already. Okay, you can tell it really is supposed to be at this tension. You hear how like the sound kind of firmed up? I think I might have done a bad job putting this D on, guys. It's slipping, isn't it? But I secured that. Maybe the gear is slipping a little bit internally. All right, we'll see. It's already falling so flat, but let's do this a little bit. Super pitchy. I know it's not going to be well in tune, but let's just see what a first like look is like. Actually, let's try it without my wolf remover on. Just for a one-to-one comparison. A is actually staying. It's probably going to be out of tune by the time I finish, but let's try it anyway. Hits a ditch. I like this C. I need rosin. Let's see how out of tune it went in this 1 minute of playing. All right. I'm really looking forward to trying that crumb sonata. interrupting myself. I'm really excited to play on these, plan for the next couple of days. So I will check in with you guys tomorrow and we'll see what's going on with them at that point. All right, see how it goes. All right, so I'm not going to record my whole practice session, but this is, like, experienced cellists will know this, and people are always surprised. I just picked up this cello for the first time since yesterday, and so I just want you to hear how out of tune it is. So it's completely bonkers out of tune. That is to be expected on any set of strings, but especially these Warchals, which have like that, the warning on, I think every place I went to like look for them online, they were like, hey, these take a while to break in. So not well in tune. But even after a set of strings has broken in, I've had students say, why is my cello out of tune? I tuned it like yesterday. For me, especially right now, we're filming this at the very end of January. So like the weather's been extremely dry and cold, and then we kind of went up, you know, to medium cold as opposed to bitterly cold. And my instrument, even if I had a very well broken in set of strings on, over the course of like say a 4 or 5 hour teaching day, I would tune 6-7 times in there. So it's not a problem necessarily that you need to tune a whole bunch as the weather changes. So just keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna pause the recording, do some practice, and then I will do a little like example just so we can see how these are on then the first full day, the first full day of being on my instrument. All right, let's see. Okay, so I'm back. I've been practicing for about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. So the strings sound a little bit boingier. That's kind of what you expect in new strings. Or sometimes you expect that in like cheap strings, especially like when I was working in schools, right? And like those horrible red sets or like prim sets, right? This has there's like a real metallic sound. I do not like that sound. The C and the A seem really good. These middle ones. It's just the open sound of the G and the D right now that is a little bit dubious. I do hope that it breaks in. I'll go back and I'll do just like that opening of the Brahms. Let's see. I'm not even sure what that A is. Let's go and double check. A little sharp because it's warmer in here right now. Just see what the Brahms sounds like right now in the middle. Too bad, but I'm just thinking about like also they seem really loud I was in the speeded up part just before. Could you tell what I was practicing? I was playing very quietly along with the Emerson Quartet's rendition of the Beethoven Opus 18 No. 1, because I'm playing that with my string quartet this weekend, and I was trying to nail the... Notice I didn't play the really hard one. Hold on. Okay, see, I got that one too. But it's like, it's really hard to play quietly. Really easy to play loud. It's hard to play quietly. I'm trying to think of a passage where the cello has to play something soloistic, but also kind of something mild. I'm thinking like about that opening of Saint-Saëns, the second movement. Like that's so loud still. Like, okay, so this is the natural weight of my arm. I'm not adding or subtracting. So in an orchestral section, at least with this current setup, I would be working very, very hard to like not stand out and to like blend my sound with the rest of the section. I could do that from like, I could modulate that mostly with where I am in the bow and the pressure I'm using. It's just yeah, it just, these are louder strings than I was expecting. That's what it is. You're used to the really boingy sound when it's plucked, but also sounds quite boingy when I'm playing them with my bow. And also something that I noticed is going between an open string and a fingered note. I feel like there's like a latency or a delay. I'm hearing a little bit of the harmonic in there sometimes. Let's see what happens if I really like hit the fingerboard hard. Okay, it's cleaner. I shouldn't have to hit the string that hard though. I'm always talking about like lessening your pressure. We're hearing a lot of that. That note also sounds super weird. I might not have found the right place for my wolf remover. So it seems like it likes Bach a whole lot and anything with like a big ringing pedal tone, but let's see how it sounds tomorrow. Okay, so I've just practiced for about 20 minutes and I skipped a couple of days for reasons. I'll tell you, this was being filmed at the very end of January and the beginning of February 2025. So if you're watching this at any other time, you'll know why it was so hard to do absolutely anything except panic and practice, but I just didn't feel like filming anything. So it's interesting, when I first put these strings on, I was sort of impressed and excited with their, which is kind of the general tone and playing experience. I'm not sure if these are going to work out. I don't know. I'm going to listen back to this recording because they really do sound very assertive, like right under my nose. I'm not a soloist very much. Every now and again I'll do recording stuff, but like I'm not playing, you know, concertos with orchestras. I'm playing with people, under people a lot of the time, or I'm playing like with a string quartet. My past set of strings, like I had to work really hard. I don't know if it was just like the Il Cannone set that I had just didn't get along with my cello, because I was really happy with the first set I had back in like whatever it was, 2022, 1 something. Anyway, but these I think might be real spiky for my string quartet experience. I didn't go to my last rehearsal because I was not well. So we will find out this next week how that goes. But I'll play a little bit for you. You didn't need to hear my practice at full speed. Let's see, what should I play? What I have on my stand is definitely not even close to ready for showtime. I guess I should probably play the Brahms. Make sure I'm still in tune. Although maybe I'll play the fun part. I don't know. I've been working on like certain parts of the fourth suite. Mash. Speaking as easily as I thought it would be. Let's do the Brahms just to check in. So like every single week we have the same guy, or every single day. I'm not liking where I'm in the bow here. Pilot error, but I mean, my intonation's definitely pilot error, but like, we're getting into Wolfieville here. Let's see. Yeah. Ugh. is just struggling. Maybe I'll adjust the crens a little here. These notes are like such a struggle bus right now. I don't like this. Do I want my wolf on F sharp, E, E flat? I actually get a wolf on the D sometimes, just like extraordinary. Never heard of that before. All right, so let's try it again. Some strings are more, you know, wolfy than others. I'm gonna see what happens with no vibrato, no correction, no nothing. Actually, no, I'm not gonna take this off. I'm not sure if you can hear that. The cello is like vibrating hard against me. Like it's not liking the E flat at all. No matter which way I temper it, sometimes tempering it fixes it. Set that I might put on and do another trial with. That's the what is it? The Yagar Evoke set, the black one with like the little gold print. Maybe I'll try that. Also, the other thing that I noticed, and it's probably a combination of these strings and the bridge height. I play with a very, very low bridge, just to make it as easy as on my fingers as possible. But of course, in the winter, when the instrument is like, you know, small and contracted because there's no moisture in the wood, the strings actually, when I went to the luthier, he told me my action was like as low as a violin. I'm like, I wondered why it felt so good, but I was also like constantly like hitting the fingerboard. So I'm playing a piece right now. Playing might be too strong a term. I'm working on the Bucanic 4th Concert Etude with one of my students, and you know, it's like really, really treacherous, very delicate, like thumb position-y stuff up here. I say delicate, you've got to be super muscular, but it has to sound like offhanded and light and easy. And the combination of the strings and then the slightly raised action, I have to be like right on the bridge in order for like the highest of the octaves to speak and be in tune. There's a super high C. And I have to be there. If I'm like, I move and it sounds like I'm right here on the fingerboard, which I'm not really used to, but it's a fun piece. the next part, so that's, I'm like playing that at 1/100th speed, but I'm still working on it. Anyway, but these are the kind of things that you just don't know if you have to make an initial assessment of strings when you first put them on, because the instrument's reacting, the strings are reacting. It will be 1 week tomorrow that I've had these on, and I've been playing a couple hours every day. I'm not super won over. If I didn't have, like, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't care. I would just be like, well, I guess these are not my favorite set of strings, and maybe I won't buy them again. But since I'm trying to find a really good setup for my instrument and stick with it, if when I listen back to the recordings at the end of this week or 10 days break-in period, I'm going to try a different set of strings, because it's they've made certain things that I could count on a lot harder while making other things different, but I'm not sure that they're better. They're definitely different though. All right, see you next time. All right, so I just finished practicing for about an hour. Got a student coming up, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do my last installment of these new strings on my cello for a week. I'm still actually a little bit divided. I do not have a sense of like overwhelming satisfaction. My fear is that the quest is kind of going to continue. I'm going to keep them on for a little while, but I'm finding, and it could be that I'm coming to the end of this particular bow rehair. It's February 5th right now, and I got this rehaired I think November 10th, but I have been playing quite a lot. But normally a November rehair would get me probably into like March at least, unless I'm really thrashing myself, but I'm really not playing that much, a couple hours a day. Anyway, let's make sure I'm in tune. And you know I'm gonna play the Brahms because I love using the same thing across all of my different trials. So I was looking at this Nadia Boulanger piece, Les Trois Pièces. One of my students is working on it, and I'm finding, I don't think in this movement, but there were just a couple things that felt actually more difficult, even though I like the sound of this A quite a lot. Where was it? Was it yum bum ba ya da dum? Right, I don't have a fingering worked out for this, so but. And I was considering going across the string, so. I'm finding that I'm hearing a lot of open G ringing, so I'm hearing a little, not exactly my favorite thing. It could be better when it breaks in more, but this is a really long time now for strings to kind of break in. Yeah, there's like, that could have been my finger dragging on this string. Let's be really careful. That's pilot error. That has nothing to do with the string quality. That's just, that fourth is really hard to get in tune. By the way, it's funny, I've been doing this on an up bow. For this, frequently I actually play this as a down bow, and I divide the bows a little more. if I were to make a final assessment of these, if I just had to like base it on my experience thus far, here's what I would say. I suspect that if you have an instrument where you feel like the notes don't start easily, also if you feel like you have a tone that seems like too dark or too muffled, these are called brilliant for a reason. I didn't do the amber, I think they're called amber set. I think I would like to try those as well, because there are things that I really like and they feel distinctly different than a lot of strings that I've been playing. I'm wondering if that has to do with like the synthetic core versus silver core, steel core, all those different things. I have been playing on Larsens and Spirocores, some kind of combination of those two for a really long time. I did do Versum for almost a year, and I liked a lot of it, but I felt like they, at least with my cello, like when I would play high up on the D string, it was really not great, and especially not great high up on the G. Anyway, but I think if you have an instrument that sounds like dark, quiet, muddy, I think that this could be a really nice balance. This is a pretty loud instrument to begin with, and these are kind of, they kind of heighten all of that. And I already have to kind of hold back a little bit. The way I play has a lot to do with like gravity and weight. And so my default dynamic level is like a really robust forte. So for anything less than that, I'm actually having to like back off and do a lot of work kind of, you know, curating the tone and kind of manicuring it so that it's not inappropriate sounding. So I don't know if they're good all across the board. Like, I don't know anybody who's put on like a Larsen A string and been like, oh, I hate this. I don't think that they're going to be like that solidly just applicable across the board, but I could see these as being kind of a nice remedy for somebody whose tone does not have a lot of brilliance. I'm not going to put the regular Brilliant A on. If I change sets of strings, which I might do after maybe, I don't know, play on these for a month, unless the string quartet really hates them. Yeah, they're certainly not like my final iteration. And I just really wish I could get back to the magic that had happened when I first got this instrument. It just sounded like so robust and like growly down low, but like focused and beautiful and like singing up top. And I just feel like a lot of my tone right now, and I've tried it with different bows and things, so it's not this, it could be me, but I just feel like it sounds very shouty, and maybe that's just my personality, I guess, but I feel like I have to work very, very hard to play things in like a subtle or subtle or like elegant, understated. I have to work really, really hard, and I didn't when I first got this instrument. That was kind of why I fell in love with him. Anyway, so that's my 1 week of giving these a shot. I will link to where I got them from. The shop was wonderful to deal with. I think it was Concord Music, if I'm not mistaken. I think they might be in New Jersey, but anyway, I will link to that. And I will answer any questions if you want to ask in the comments or shoot me an email. That's contact@emilywright.net. Until I do another trial, I will see you then.